Cool TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the army of revolution. The fight for justice grows daily. Justice for our brother Nolan Wells. F.B.A. news y'all can use. But before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Let's get right into the content tonight. The hardest working revolutionary in the news business is back.
Who shouldn't even exist in my great state of Mississippi. You know, Leah Campbell out there wanting to spread her garbage about our organization and say that we're a group or band of bigots.
Words not taken lightly by Leah Campbell, president of the Mississippi Rising Coalition.
Now, also just to point this out to family, that this particular branch of the KKK that's being highlighted in this newsreel is in Ocean Springs, where our brother Nolan Wells was unalived. So this wasn't too long ago, but this was in Ocean Springs. And also what we're going to read is that according to the branch of KKK in Ocean Springs, we're going to read that they say that they are one of the largest branches of the KKK in the U.S., in the entire nation. They say that the one that is in Ocean Springs is the largest or one of the largest in the country. But
peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High, and shout out to my brother Benaiah Israel for digging up the history of the KKK right in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, the same place our dear brother Nolan Wells was murdered. I'm just going to say it. And as you heard him say, the Ocean Springs branch of what they're calling themselves, the United Dixie White Knights, is one of the largest Klan groups in the U.S. of A. Now you see why we are not getting any transparency or any information, because just like back then, when they would kill somebody, or they kill Emmett Till, or they'll kill Medgar Evers, they'll kill any black person, everybody was involved because everybody was in the Klan, from the sheriff to the judge to the mayor to the police to the DA, so on and so forth. Now, this particular video that you're going to see is about when this Klan group right here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, sent a 10-minute video of cross burnings and threats to an organization called Mississippi Rising Coalition, in which they were trying to pretty much get that racist flag from flying in the courts and things of that nature. So you're going to watch this video, but also you're going to see some more recent KKK activity that has been dug up in the state of Mississippi, not particularly in Jackson County, but once again, it shows the interconnection, the interwovenness of this secret, evil, maniacal organization that many people don't think exists. But as Psalm 64:5 says, they encourage each other in evil plans. They talk about hiding their evil. They say, who will see it? They plot injustice and say, we have devised a perfect plan. And this explains once again what we're seeing in the Nolan Wells case. They have devised a perfect plan. But just watch this news article from 2018, only 8 years ago, where this Klan group is actually sending flyers and sending videos trying to intimidate people who are standing up to get the Mississippi state flag removed from the court system. Just watch.
You sent this to us with the intent not only to intimidate, but in the hopes that we would react publicly. You get your wish. We are eager to confront you your hateful bigotry, white supremacy, and your allies publicly.
A group that has been vocal and consistent in their opinions about the state flag and their drive and petitions to have the Mississippi state flag changed to a flag without the Confederate battle emblem, a symbol Campbell and others in the group find offensive.
To our elected officials who have remained silent on the issue or support or are neutral on the state flag, never has it been more clear that you are putting our city, our state, and its people at risk.
The threatening video has not stopped Campbell, Mississippi Rising, or members of the NAACP from exercising their rights and voicing their views, as clearly stated in a press conference at Ocean Springs City Hall Wednesday morning.
Okay, you heard them at the Ocean Springs City Hall. This happened 8 years ago. So, do you think those people who were fighting to keep that racist flag flying through the Mississippi court system just somehow all of a sudden disappeared in Ocean Springs? In Ocean Springs. And after that video response, of course, the head of that branch, I think his name was Brent Waller, kind of responded and was like, yeah, we sent the video and we're going to send some more. Just read this. You see it here. United Dixie White Knights admit to sending video to Mississippi Rising Coalition. And you see it. It is March the 28th, 2018. And what do you see at the top? Ocean Springs, Mississippi. A video released by the Ku Klux Klan has members of the NAACP and Mississippi Rising Coalition concerned about a rise in racism in South Mississippi. According to Mississippi Rising, the group received a link to a 10-minute YouTube video posted by the United Dixie White Knights. The video, which was posted Sunday, was removed from YouTube Wednesday morning. United Dixie White Knights admitted to sending the video and promised more in an email. Yes, we put out the video, and whether the communist, anti-First Amendment folks at YouTube like it or not, more are coming. We open multiple accounts way back to defeat their censorship, to open up when we feel the need to speak. A massive flyer campaign will begin this spring in Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi, as those areas are United Dixie White Knight country. Any scoundrel of a politician who feels like going against the voters of Mississippi in regards to our state flag, well, we welcome them to step to the plate so we can shine a bright spotlight on their heads. And I'm not going to read the rest of it, but as you see at the bottom, you have my permission to quote anything you wish. We do not do interviews, as the press is often used by the enemies of the American Republic. So that shows how brazen he is. So keep in mind, that was only 8 years ago. And do you think this United Dixie White Knights, who are the largest chapter of the KKK in the world, just disappeared from Ocean Springs, Mississippi? If you think that, I got some oceanfront, beachfront property to sell you out.
Now, I want you to understand, all those Ku Klux Klan members were out there on the water with Nolan. They just didn't have their sheets on. They definitely. Now, imagine if they all had their sheets on. It'd just been a bunch of Klan members out there on boats, but they didn't have their sheets on. But it still was the damn Ku Klux Klan surrounding that boy, and he never even knew it.
Out in an article, and it's going for cheap too. Just check out a little bit of this other article, once again referencing the same thing. Here it is. It says the Ku Klux Klan is getting back into Mississippi electoral politics. Last week, the United Dixie White Knights, a South Mississippi-based chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, allegedly sent a video of a burning cross to the leader of Mississippi Rising Coalition, a Gulf Coast-based group working to change the state flag, which is the last in the nation containing the Confederate battle emblem. Following the backlash, which include national media attention, the group denied sending the video and posted a statement disparaging the coalition and criticizing reporters who covered the story, and included a political threat to a top legislative Republican who has said he wants a new flag. Now, in this one, they're denying it, but the first one, they admitted it. Now, watch this. Philip Gunn is high up on our list of turncoats who chose to stab Mississippi voters in the back because he lusts for national politics. He will soon regret this decision. Our Jackson, talking about the Jackson County, Miss Clavering, and that is what they call their little groups, is one of the largest Ku Klux Klan Claverings in the country. And I have given them orders to blanket Guns District with flyers meant to awaken the white sheep to his actions. On Wednesday, just days after receiving the video, the Mississippi Rising Coalition filed a federal lawsuit to force the city of Ocean Springs to stop flying the flag. So once again, this article is from 8 years ago, and Ocean Springs did not want to stop flying that Confederate flag. So when we talk about the cover up with Nolan Wells, this is who's covering it up. The United Dixie White Knights, admittedly the largest chapter of the Ku Klux Klan in the United States of America. And how do you get to be accepted and inducted into the Ku Klux Klan? That's right. You have to do a blood tie. You have to do something. Could Nolan Wells' death be an initiation to the Ku Klux Klan? Now, furthermore, I covered this story earlier this year where KKK material was discovered in a government building with robes, meeting logs, instructions, applications, all of the like. I covered this when it first happened back in March, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this happened not in Jackson County, but in Jackson, the city, the capital, where they were moving out of one public building to another public building. Just take a listen to this.
A small blue suitcase, which contained all these materials from the Ku Klux Klan in Mississippi. Department of Public Safety are moving to a new headquarters. While they were kind of cleaning out a closet for that move, they found a Klan robe, several Klan charters, a Klan handbook, which was called, in their terminology, a Kloran. They not only found these kind of internal documentation of like how you set up a meeting and the oath that you take to become a Klansman. Of course, you put like a sword on the Bible and you swear you're going to obey the Klan Constitution and things like that. But also, interestingly, very internal stuff. Like they actually had some ledgers and meeting minutes. So they were very careful in their meeting minutes not to put anyone's name in there. So they always put people's numbers, like number 15 made a motion to do such and such. The problem is they also had a ledger book for the people to pay their dues. It has the numbers and it has their names of them paying the dues. So kind of gave it all away right there. What they immediately did is they contacted the Mississippi Department of Archives and History. Archives has these documents and the robe. They're going to be releasing this to the public within the next few months. It's easy to look at these guys in terms of, you know, their outfits that kind of look clownish. These organizations are basically terrorist organizations. The White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, most violent Klan organization in the United States, responsible for at least 10 killings here in Mississippi. Myrlie Evers, the widow of Medgar Evers, has said before, the reason we keep repeating our history is we don't know our history. And I think it's so important to preserve this history because it's forgotten within a generation or two. A small boy.
And I would add to Myrlie Evers' statement, no, the reason we keep repeating our history is because we're still living in that history. Now, that guy tries to laugh it off. Well, they found these archives and, you know, it was ledgers and stuff. And, you know, acting like that is from times way past. Now, those books may be, but there are books right there now, admittedly by this organization, that still exists. And so that's how they kind of play in your face. Well, you know, these guys look kind of clownish and, you know, it was a sword and a Bible. He's saying it like instead of archiving it, they should have burned it. They should have destroyed it. So once again, they're playing in our faces. Okay, well, now we're going to release this to the public to like, yeah, we still here. So you have to be careful when dealing with this. But this one lady, from Mississippi wasn't having it. She was an activist, and she went hard at the state talking about you're going to archive it, and it's just nothing. Boys will be boys back then, and this was from the 60s. No, this was found in the Department of Public Safety, i.e. the police department, i.e. the corrections department, i.e. the highway patrol, i.e. law enforcement. So how do you think something like Nolan Wells could go on if law enforcement is not involved? But this sister was not happening. And this is this year it was found. Let's listen to this sister right here. We can go back. Shout out to brother once again, Benaya Israel, for breaking this all down real quick.
Klan materials were found inside a state government building this week. A staff member made the discovery as they were preparing to move out of the Department of Public Safety building. Many of you now want to know how they got there in the first place. Our Quentin Smith speaks with a civil rights activist and brings us her reaction. Quentin?
Courtney, and she's troubled by this discovery. It includes things such as clothing KKK members wore, instructions on how to attack and harm people, along with applications to become a member. One civil rights activist says the materials are deeply disturbing, but she's even more troubled because of where they were found.
Just to put it in archives, just to document, and no, it's not enough.
As she scrolls through the pictures for Priscilla Teal,
this is a lot.
These are not just old documents.
They don't feel that this is a threat.
They're painful reminders her family knows all too well.
Many people don't have any idea it was the Ku Klux Klan that killed Emmett Till.
See, Emmett Till is her cousin. The 14-year-old was brutally beaten and killed here in Mississippi after a white woman lied and said he whistled at her.
A lot of people don't realize right before Emmett Till was murdered, the Klan had murdered a whole family. Threw him in the same river. The Klan had murdered a whole family. Threw him in the same river.
I have that on a loop for a reason. The Klan murdered a whole family and threw them in the same river as they threw Emmett Till. There's a pattern.
The Klan had murdered a whole family, threw him in the same river that we found Emmett Till in.
That's what makes the dozens of items found in this small blue suitcase so alarming. They're from the 60s and they're connected to the Ku Klux Klan. They include a notebook showing the minutes from meetings, a memo on how their harassment tactics worked, and also information about how they conducted their meetings. The discovery also shows a white hood and robe that KKK members used to wear.
I felt like when they found this material, the state of Mississippi immediately went to let's not talk about this and preserve it. No, we want it talked about. We want to investigate it. And
if you look at those robes look fresh. Like they were just, those don't look like no old robes from the 60s. Those look like those robes was just picked out of the cleaners. This is not old stuff, man. They playing.
No, we want it talked about. We want to investigate it. And I think the people within the state of Mississippi has a right to know what is in those files. Who are the members?
The civil rights activist wants to know all of the names and details listed on the documents. Teal admits she's also concerned that the artifacts were found inside the Department of Public Safety, which is a state agency.
I think it's very important to investigate why was this information in a government building? And are the same people that had this information still affiliated within law enforcement and different agencies around the state of Mississippi? And are the same people that had this information still affiliated within law enforcement and different agencies around the state of Mississippi?
All right, we'll stop it right there. I had the opportunity to meet that lovely sister down in New Orleans earlier this year. Very beautiful sister, very dedicated to once again exposing these things. And once again, there is a name and ledger of all of those people. You think that those people somehow disappeared, or you think their siblings or their ancestors or their descendants are not following in the footsteps? Once again, 8 years ago, the guy said, we are the largest faction of the KKK right there in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So while we're all spinning our heads and spinning and, running around like a hamster wheel, trying to figure out who improved this, and the Coast Guard and the judge and the sheriff and this guy and that, all of them are in the Klan. If you have the largest group in Ocean Springs and they had to fight and beg and plead and almost, do a federal injunction to get them to stop flying the Confederate flag, what do you think that those people are involved in now there? And so we can stop it. We don't stop because we still don't know what happened to him. And, all of this scrutiny wouldn't be on the town if they could just give us some kind of story, right? Well, Nolan was drunk and he fell off the boat and we panicked and we left him, right? Nolan was drunk, him and Jax was playing and Jax, put him in a chokehold. And, if you give us something, then we don't have to speculate. But we don't even have to speculate anymore after this information right here. The largest group of the KKK is in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So we're looking for justice of people who the sheriff used to take off his badge and his uniform, put down his gun, and then don one of those white robes like that, and then meet with the judge, the DA, the police chief, the banker, the lawyer, the coroner, the DA, the medical examiner, and all go to a meeting and fill out those little logs. Come on, man. We got to stop playing with ourselves. We got to stop playing with ourselves and act like these people are going to do righteousness. For they are evil people and they have concerted. They have been plotted evil against us without cause. They that hate me are more than the hairs of mine head. And they have hated us without cause, man. That's what the scripture says. So y'all be aware of this while we keep running on our heads and doing bicycle flips about who said what about them lying. This possibly was a KKK initiation by who? Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for liking, watching. This is reportedly a dispatch call from the Jackson County Sheriff Office as they are on their way to Judge Ashley Cole's house on the night of the 4th, going into the 5th. Just listen to this, and I'll be back with some more commentary.
10-4. 9-3-0803.
Negative, we're en route to the judge's house now. Negative, we're en route to the judge's house now. You said y'all are en route to the judge's house or from the judge's house? En route to the judge's house. Destined for I keyed up on you. Appreciate it. 10-4. 5123 in the area. Mississippi 28, John, Mary 809. 1032, finish up with whatever you got and get down here. Currently dealing with a potential missing person. Do you have all the information from the 1050? 10-4? 10-24, 10-8, and J2. 10-4.
So this audio I found on a social media platform, and it is alleged to be from the 4th of July. And it says, dispatch audio sounds like Warren's mom, the judge, contacted police regarding Nolan Wells missing right before midnight on July 4th. And it also went into the 5th. And you'll be able to see that where I circled it at. Hit the replay and check it out again. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the play button to get to a full live stream or video.
And shout out to my girl at the MTGV podcast. She's the one who found that video. And once again, she says she found it on social media. So I'm not saying that this is authentic, but it sounds like a call that is relative to the Nolan Wells case. As you heard one of the people on the call say, well, I'm en route to the judge house. And then you heard the other person on the call say, well, are you coming from the judge house or are you en route to the judge house? And then he says, no, I'm en route to the judge's house. Now, evidently, this is the night in which they called for the missing person and the police, quote unquote, interviewed Warren. But if you take a listen to the verbiage that they are using, they're not saying we're on the way to this complainant house or we're on the way to check out this missing persons report or we're on the way to see what this issue is. No, we're on the way to the judge's house. The judge's house, that denotes a familiarity with the judge, not formal, nothing formal, but we're on the way to the judge's house. We're on the way to see how we can cover this thing up. Now, also, you heard him mention at one point in the call, 1024. And I had to look up what 1024 means. It's assignment completed. Now, what assignment are they talking about? Now, mind you, once again, it looks like that is about a 30-minute call. And so we just got the last 2 minutes of it. If anybody's able to find a more detailed version of that call, please feel free to send it to that number right there. But what once again bothers me is the level of familiarity in which they're talking about this judge. And so if we are thinking, like most people thinking, that this is some big elaborate cover up, then this would lead one to believe that if Warren or any of the boys had something to do with it, then they would be more apt to cover up for them because, listen, the judge, like, I'm on the way to my friend's house. Like, they're talking like they're going to shoot some pool, not they are going to find out what happened to this missing person. Let's listen to it one more time and see if you guys can relate to what I'm saying. Just listen.
10-4. 9-3. 0803.
Negative, we're en route to the judge's house now. Negative, we're en route to the judge's house now. You said y'all are en route to the judge's house or from the judge's house? En route to the judge's house. Destin 4, I keyed up on you. Appreciate it. 10-4. $5123 in the area. Mississippi 28, John Mary 809. 32, finish up with whatever you got and get down here.
Now, I don't know what he said right there. Sounds like he said such and such and such, get whatever you got and get down here. Let's rewind that a little bit.
Finish up with whatever you got and get down here.
Currently dealing with a potential missing person.
Do you have all the information from the 1050?
And if you hear what he said at the end of that call, he said such and such and such and such, 1050. Now, I looked up 1050 in police code, and that means a vehicle accident, a accident with property damage only, accident with personal injury, or a fatal traffic accident. So I'll ask you, if this is a missing person, then how would they know it is a quote unquote fatal accident? This is very telling that he used that code. Let's go back and listen to it one more time.
Do you have all the information from the 1050?
He said, do you have all the information from the 1050? So once again, if they're talking about a missing person, why are they asking, do you have all the information from the 1050?
1024, 108, I'm J2.
I am 1024. That means the assignment is completed.
So this audio I found on a social media platform, and it is alleged to be from the 4th of July. And it says dispatch audio sounds like Warren's mom, the judge, contacted police regarding Nolan Wells missing right before midnight on July 4th. And it also went into the 5th. And you'll be able to see that where I circled it at. Hit the replay and check it out again. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the play button to get to a full live stream or video.
And my girl from the MTGV podcast mentioned that it sounded like Judge Ashley Cole. Now, I don't hear that unless it is the lady at the front of the call talking about 8603 or something like that. But then again, it's strange to me when they said, okay, well, we're checking on a potential missing person. And he basically asked him, okay, well, did you get all the information from the 1050? Once again, a 1050 is a vehicle accident, and a vehicle could include a boat, an accident with personal property damage, an accident with personal injury, or a fatal traffic accident. So why are they referring to a 1050 when they're talking about a missing person call? And also what assignment was completed, the 1024. So this adds more fire to the fuel of it being a cover-up. Once again, that they are entirely too laissez-faire, nonchalant when talking about, yeah, we're going over to the judge's house. And so if they're talking like that, can you imagine when they get to the judge's house, if something is wrong and the judge can be like, listen, I need y'all to do such and such, such and such and such and such. Don't you think they're going to do it? Haven't you seen that picture with one of the sheriff deputies in the judge's office just taking her plate or bringing her some food? That is what they do. That is, they want the judge's favor. The judges in those small town judges, DAs, and sheriffs, they are very powerful and they hold the keys to a lot of people's success. And so this call, once again, I don't know the validity of it, but if it is valid, you heard what they're saying and how they're talking on that call, which doesn't seem like a sense of urgency. It seems like a very methodical, strategic operation that is going on. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this new call in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. And as Ephesians 5:11 says, take no part in the works of darkness. Rather, expose them. Verse 12 says, because it is a shame to even speak of the things that they are doing in secret. And it seems to be there's a lot of secrecy going on in the Nolan Wells case. But thank you all for tuning in, liking, watching, sharing, subscribing. And as always, I pray you have peace and blessings. And as the scripture says, all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things
What's up, family? We got a white woman from Mississippi. Her name is Ashley. Her internet handle on IG is Live Lively with Ashley. And she got some valuable information, fam. I think all the white women should come to the front, and white men, y'all come on to the front. And well, everybody, just come to the front. Everybody come to the front. And listen to what she has to say. And y'all let me know if you think she's on point.
I'm from Mississippi, and on the 4th of July, my son's best friend came with us to my family's get-together. And their friend is Black, and he was the only Black person. My son's friend was obviously going to be protected with us, as are all of our Black friends, because I'm very aware of how racist people can be in Mississippi. And I even told my kids before we left for my family's 4th of July thing that if anyone said anything racist, that they knew that their mama was going to speak up, say something, because I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my own family. I'm going to call you out on your racist BS, and that we would immediately leave, because I'm not going to tolerate that ever. So my kids know that about me, but I also want to make sure that they know that we have to speak out no matter who it is. I don't care if it's family. People come out and are saying, you need to warn your kids about being the only Black person amongst a group of white people, especially in certain places around here. Very much so. I agree with it. I'm always telling my kids, if you are with your friends who aren't white and you're around any certain area and someone comes out saying racist stuff, you have to be the one that speaks up. You have to intervene. When my kids were little and they would go play basketball at another guy's house, his neighbor always hung a Confederate flag. And I would tell my boys, if y'all are set on playing basketball there at your friends, please know if that man ever comes outside of that house, you have to be the one to speak to him. Do not let your Black friends try to say anything, because you never know what that man might do to them. So as a white parent who was very aware of the racism here and everywhere, in most places, unfortunately, it is my job to make sure I educate my children, simply not on being not racist, but I want to teach them, and I do teach them, how to be anti-racist and how to use the privilege that they have as a white person around here to make sure that they're the ones speaking up and intervening to protect all their friends who aren't white, because they're going to be viewed differently than their Black friends. And so they have to do that. They have to step in. So if you're a white person and you get offended by people saying, don't let your Black children be the only Black person going somewhere with a white family, we should not be offended. We should be very aware of what they have to deal with all the time. And it doesn't matter if we're the exception to that rule. We should understand where they're coming from, and then also do our part to make sure we're educating our children on how to be better stewards of the privilege that they have, especially in these places, and to make sure that they're protecting their friends.
So basically, if you're standing on shore and you see somebody drowning, you don't say, that's not my problem. You jump in and try to save them. Okay. I almost liken this to how we tell our girls and our women to, be careful how they, dress, right? Because some men won't be able to control their emotions. They might try to attack them or something like that. They're inviting trouble or whatever, right? If you put a black person around a racist white person, they're inviting trouble, right? Because the racist white person has a sense of entitlement that he can harm a black body just because it's a black body. It's a black person. There are people out there that feel like they got a birthright to harm black bodies. So the only reason why these dudes do what they do is because they get a pass from law enforcement. And the reason why they get a pass from law enforcement is because law enforcement itself is crawling with uncivilized mud racists. That's right. I said it. I know you. I studied you. All over America, law enforcement, it is racism runs rampant throughout law enforcement. I'm talking about the highest levels of law enforcement. They're in law enforcement on every single level you can think of. They're in Congress. They're elected officials. Yeah. They're governors, they're senators, they're congressmen, they're congresswomen, they're city council members, they're on the school board, they're in the hospitals, they're doctors, they're nurses. They're in the convalescent homes. They're in the youth facilities. They're in the prisons. They work in the transportation industry. They work for the county. They work for the city. They're in every major institution and industry, and every minor institution and industry. And the racist, the worst of them all, are usually at the very top. So that's why it continues, because they haven't done anything to punish those who practice that type of behavior. They haven't done anything to punish the ones from the past. So the ones that are in the present, they continue the same behavior. If you want to stop it, you got to punish them. They don't understand that. Like in America, Americans don't understand but two things: money and blood. Ashley pretty much said she has to coach her children on how to protect their black friends. And you got white people out there who are upset that black people are all over the internet warning young black children to stay away from groups of white people when they're the only black person. That's not hate, that's survival, y'all. In fact, if you reverse the roles, white people are already doing that. You seldom see one white person in a group of all black people. Now think about that. Now you tell me who playing the race card. Because usually when you got black and white friends, or even black and white people that's in a relationship, in an intimate relationship, the black person usually conforms to white society. They usually hang out with the white crowd. they usually, if they got a significant other, they hang around that significant other's friend group, which is typically white. They hang around whites. They go into white spaces. You very seldom see a black and a white couple, and the white person is spending more time in black spaces. You very seldom see that. Very seldom see that. I wonder why. Everybody got to ask themselves. Anybody that's living that life, you got to ask yourself, why are you always in the white spaces? Why aren't your white friends ever in the black spaces? But we're the ones, we're playing the race card. Now, when we talk about this race thing, we're talking about survival, man. This ain't got nothing to do with getting in our feelings and all that kind of stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with racism. First of all, we can't even, I ain't gonna try to explain that, but because if you don't know now, you ain't gonna never know. But yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with hating. That got everything, that has nothing to do with hatred. That has everything to do with survival. When black people tell black kids, do not be the only black person in a group of white people. That's survival. That ain't hate. That's survival. And the trip part about it is white people are already practicing that. White people are already practicing that. They're already not being the only white person in black crowds, in black spaces, around a bunch of black friends. And the cold part about it is the safest place for any white person is around a group of black people. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
I hope y'all got y'all tea, because I got mine. It says the United Cajun Navy releases new photos. Nolan Wells, I don't know. But I know I see a logo on this. And the logo says TMZ. So when I hear TMZ, that lets me know I need to take everything with a grain of salt. Are the times going to add up? I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not pointing the finger at nobody. I'm just conveying the information that's out here, y'all. But when you look into these comment sections, the people is not feeling it. But before we get into it, y'all make sure y'all hype this video. Y'all make sure y'all are clicking that subscribe button. And y'all make sure y'all keep Nolan Wells' family in y'all prayers. Y'all ready? Let's get into it.
New photos just dropped in the Nolan Wells case. The United Cajun Navy has released their working report. The first image shows the original boat configuration. The report identifies boat number 1, boat number 2 and 3, and boat X, with Warren shown on Palm Beach. In this later image, boat X is no longer visible. The report says the boat configuration changed, but it cannot determine exactly when boat X left, where.
Hey, while y'all bullshitting, I'm looking at them flags that's out there. Not every flag was a USA flag. Some of them flags mean something else.
It went, or whether it's connected to Nolan's disappearance. Next, Nolan was reported to have arrived at Horn Island on the Triton. Here's one of the newly released images from the United Cajun Navy. Then
this is a newly released image from the United Cajun Navy, which tells us nothing.
Comes the shoreline photo represented as being taken around 4:50 p.m. By this point, boat number 2 was no longer in its earlier position, creating another checkpoint in the timeline. The report also references separate videos displaying times of approximately 3:23 and 4:27. Those timestamps have not yet been authenticated, but investigators say they could become important if verified. Now look at these witness statements. One places Nolan with a group around 5 p.m. Another witness disputes that account entirely. And finally, Caitlin B says her group was parked next to the area and that Nolan was nowhere in sight when they left around 7:30. The biggest takeaway, according to the United Cajun Navy, these images don't solve the case, but they do document changing boat positions, add a new timeline, and highlight the unanswered gap investigators are still trying to explain.
So they saying the reason why we haven't got the Mississippi autopsy on Nolan Wells is because they don't fall up under the public autopsy law, meaning they don't have to give it out to the public.
Nolan Xavier Wells' autopsy report back today. Let's get into it. Today is August 3rd, 2026. Okay, so listen to me. The guy that runs the Cajun Navy, who was on scene, on boots on ground when Nolan Wells was found, he had something to say about the autopsy report. Let me get into it. He literally says that Mississippi does not fall under the public autopsy law. So if the parents don't want you to ever know about his autopsy, you ain't gonna know. Listen.
But in Mississippi, an autopsy in Mississippi does not fall under the public records law. So they want to keep it secret. They may keep it secret. I don't know.
He also stated that Nolan was found in the water, but I thought he was found on land. I'm super confused. Listen to this clip.
Call your planes down. We've got a body in the water.
Okay, let me know what y'all think in the comments.
The only thing I could think of is that damn Stacey Turner is hiding something. That's all I could think of. No throat, no organs, no lungs. Man, something suspicious. With red discoloration in the back of the head. Man, stop playing, man.
I have a problem with the where and the who discovered Nolan Xavier Wells on July 6th, 2026. Let's start with the who. A National Park Ranger Service is the one that anonymously discovered Nolan Wells on July 6th, 2026 on the northwestern tip of Horn Island. The reason I have an issue with this is, why are they anonymous? Official documentation during active ongoing investigations require identification. This is not a random person. This is someone paid for by federal tax dollars. And if that is part of your job and you discover a missing person or someone who was reported missing, why would their name not be released? We know other names have been released in law enforcement. The sheriff that said that we don't suspect foul play at the very beginning. Other officers' names were brought up. Why the one that discovered Nolan Wells? Why is this National Park Ranger Service individual, why is his or her name being withheld? In the where? Cajun Navy officials were flying around for 2 days looking for Nolan Wells. And all of a sudden, just a National Service Park Ranger just makes their way through and goes, oh, there he is. Now, there's some speculation that they missed him the first time as they walked by, but then saw him the second time. But not a boater saw him, not a camper saw him. No one saw him, not the United Cajun Navy officials. They didn't see him as he was flying over. The park ranger is the one that discovered him. Out of the blue, not from aerial view, from the bird's eye view, but from ground. And that individual is still anonymous. I'm sorry, but something's not adding up.
These boys been into boating ever since they were younger. If I'm not mistaken, one of the boys' grandfathers owned one of the boating companies. What in the hell makes you think that they don't know somebody that's a park ranger? They all know each other. When I say that they all connected, I don't just be saying that shit. They are really connected. Oh, you got something going on? Hold on, let me call my buddy. They all connected, bro. They are not going to try and get no real answers for Nolan Wells. And this is why so much time has been going by without nobody coming out speaking. They lawyered up. They got lawyers and shit all in their fam, judges and all of that shit. Them people ain't trying to get no answers, bro. Who is these other people? Eli Jacks, Eric Alcantara, Morgan. People only be speaking about Wyatt, Katie, Warren, and Bart. Who the hell is Eli Jacks and Eric and Morgan? I think I heard Morgan, though.
The state's autopsy is complete, but is being kept secret. Isn't an autopsy a public document?
Is there trauma to the body? Is there something that happened?
That's what the family is saying. They don't believe he died by accident. That's the reason why Nolan Wells' mom is saying, I don't believe this.
Why is it being kept hidden from us, the public? What is in that autopsy, the first autopsy of Nolan Wells?
Her theory has always been that he did not drown. Her theory has always been that there's something wrong with this picture. There are additional questions that needs to be asked.
Katie, girl, you had me fooled. I really thought that them receipts was really gonna help you, but you had us all fooled. Girl, ain't this you? Hold on. But Katie, on that boat, girl, ain't this you too?
Damn.
And ain't that you and your friend girl when you was hugging the girl, hugging her? That's you and her on Bart's boat. And then this is you too, Katie, on that boat that them thugs allegedly gave to Rayson Tatum and said that was proof that it was the video when they were sinking, right? Same bathing suit, same hat. Girl, you've been lying to us. So it's you and old girl's voice on that. I'm going to at Ben Crump and Miss Christine, because you probably been lying to them too. I mean, we know there's a grown woman on there too. But girl, you lied. You lied. So which one you want to do? Do you want to be like the people on the 48 hours say, do you want to be a witness? Or do you want to be a suspect? Girl, you've been lying this whole time. Ooh. Oh, also, you knew that they've been spelling your name wrong because your name isn't Katie McCormick. It's Katie McCormack. Y'all didn't catch that either. But anyways, girl, you better make up your mind which one on which side you want to be on, because them is not your friends. They not.
I know that Christine and Nolan's father are good people because they ain't got to explain a goddamn thing to y'all. They don't got to explain how they grieving. They don't have to explain how they're responding. They don't have to explain Nathaniel. They lost their child. They are the people who are victims in this situation, no matter how their child was lost. So them seeking answers and wanting to know what happened to their child is what any good parent would do. Wanting them not to ask questions and not to seek justice for their child who is no longer here is what makes you all bad parents. Because if you think for 1 second that a parent shouldn't be trying to cross every T and dot every I in the case of their child's death, you're confused. You're confused. These are clearly parents who love their children. Because anyone who would just sit down and take what is happening and be railroaded and not ask questions about their child's death is not a parent who is loving their child. And honestly, the level of strength that it takes for them to be able to do that while grieving their child is incredible. So I just want y'all to know that I'm already knowing that they good people, because I would have been cussed y'all asses out.
Triton that was under the age of 18 drinking and doing drugs. I'm letting you know right now, the Triton is the boat everybody wanted to be on, because the boys' boat that rhymes with the name Smart is where everything went down. In this video alone, we see them all board you know whose boat. They never get on the Triton because the Triton is a $50,000 boat that the parents took. The kids were on the mother kiddie boat. Remember how they all boarded up and left? On the little baby kiddie boat, the Triton didn't move when they were on it. No one ever has a video or picture of them boarding the Triton. Like, that's why they keep saying Nolan was never on the Triton, because they never used the Triton for the 18-year-old antics. They were all on the other boat. Oh, and in these videos where we see everything going down, from the argument, the boys playing and jumping the fuck around, there are at least 4 boats that are in every motherfucking scene, and there are 2 adults on every boat, i.e. this one, the Sea Hunt. They are seen on this boat that says Garmin at the top. They are seen partying on the mysterious dead Katie's boat, whatever. They are also seen on this boat called the Palm Beach. This video came from a user on Facebook that recorded everything. And I'm telling you, this area that they were all in, all of these boats, as you can see, the Sea Hut, the Palm Beach, and the Big Garmin boat.
All we do is got to be patient. There is more to come out. Telling you.
They were on were all secluded and tied off with something like fishing wire because this was their specific area for the day. This also included this boat, which was a blue boat that just so happens to have someone called Dr. Detail on it. I'll get to that later. I am telling you, the kids were not allowed on the grown folks boat, and there are so many different videos with grown folks in them. These are not your normal grown folks, and they strategically, all of them, have no posts from the 4th. And we know now because of Officer Tatum, someone was actively going around that was an adult selling blow.
Service Sam here for Nolan Xavier Wells. And I just had a thought. If you're wondering how big this cover up is, think about all those people on the island. Warren himself said it. There were hundreds of people. Boats were on top of each other. And we only have one video that pans the island for a second. And we supposedly hear that, give my effing phone back. Then Officer Race Tatum posts the pictures of the 7 boys allegedly on the boat. And then there's like a rope that looks like it's being towed, but that looks photoshopped. It looks like a fake rope. And just ask yourself how big this cover up must be that all of those kids, all under the age of 21, and there's no video, there's no pictures. Why would the friends delete their social media accounts? Because, of course, they probably took photos and pictures from that day. But you're telling me there's not more than one video that has emerged? Or was that other video where they thought they saw Nolan on the boat, that, you know, the real daddy, little daddy, Mac?
Was the reason why they hopped on the case so fast was because the adults were on the boat as well. I don't know. It's just a question of mine. Because who was supplying the alcohol beverages? As an investigator, I'm not an investigator, but if I was to investigate, I would go to the stores, the local stores, to see the footage of who was purchasing the alcohol beverages. Almost every local store got cameras. So who was in there purchasing these beverages? I know it's a lot of footage to go through, but the answer is out there, y'all. Also, who was supplying the nose candy? Somebody knows something. Like I said, the answer is going to come out. We just got to keep Nolan Wells' name alive. Got to keep on sharing these videos. Got to keep hyping these videos. I got to keep on making these showing up every day. And this is what we got to do, y'all. We got to put in the work. Not only that, the first things first, we got to keep the Most High first. Got to keep praying because it's going to come out. I have faith that this is going to come out. It's going to come out. Y'all get in the comment section. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man.
We've been talking about the Nolan Wells case. We've been talking about the discrepancies. And most recently, we've been talking about this audio that has been released. Everybody has heard it. Now, there has been a threat made from those boys basically saying they're going to lodge lawsuits. Now, today, Don Lemon wants to convince his audience of over 1 million that the audio is fake. This was rather concerning, considering that this is the same audio that he got hundreds of thousands of views on, in which he reviewed on his show. Now, what I noticed today, he seemed extremely nervous, stumbling over his words in the second show. But even his second show, he is on again trying to cast doubt when we don't need him to cast any doubt. Okay. So it seems like Don Lemon has switched over to the other team because he is doing, if you ask me, a Brandon Tatum. Let's get into it.
Happened this weekend that we can talk about. I don't know if it's going to do anybody any good to discuss any of those things, even some of the people, even some of the clapbacks and all that. It's just,
well, the interesting part is he never talks about the give, send, go. So basically, this video is to tell you all what you heard was probably fake, which, you know, that audio that was released from the Division of Marine Resources. So I would doubt that they would create a fake audio to release on someone. But just listen to how he's speaking opposed to how he was speaking days earlier.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm even interested in that, because that takes a story away from Nolan Wells, and that's what people want. They want the attention on them. So I don't even want to focus on that.
It's interesting that you say people want the attention on them, because if you guys look at this this title, he updated it. Okay. He probably heard my video because he did a video basically saying the toxicology report, as if he had the toxicology report. He later, after people had watched the video, went back and changed it to fake. Essentially, it was clickbait, because if you're going to do a video that says the toxicology report, people will click it thinking that it's the toxicology report. So that was rather interesting to me, because in this video, he goes on to call out YouTubers as if the YouTubers are out for clickbait, where he just did a video and it said toxicology report, which he's now edited to say the report is fake. But his original video did not actually say the toxicology report was fake. Now, I'm not telling y'all not to support him. I'm just calling out the fake. Y'all know how I do it over here. I just call out fake stuff. Now, I want y'all to listen to this.
Some new information. Yeah, we have some new information. But again, it's about what we are becoming.
By the way, he doesn't have any new information, which is fine. It's fine that he doesn't have any new information. I've already talked about that. He said that he had the toxicology report, but there's no toxicology report. In fact, the toxicology report that was released was fake. So my question is, you call yourself a journalist. Well, you said you are a journalist, and I believe you to be a journalist. But as a journalist, why would you do a video live stream about a fake toxicology report, but not put that in your title? You have now updated it to say that it was fake, but your original title did not say that.
It's about we're becoming what we're becoming while we're waiting on answers. I've never seen anything quite like this before. Everybody has a theory, and I mean everybody has a theory. Somebody has a timeline, somebody has screenshots, somebody slowed down a video, somebody zoomed in on a reflection, somebody has a cousin who knows somebody who's heard.
So basically, at this point, he's coming for everybody that is simply keeping this story in the limelight. Isn't that very interesting? Because we all have theories, partially because nothing had been told to us. And we can have a theory, but listen to how he is flip-flopping, becoming whitewashed, okay?
Something from somebody who is supposedly there. It's everything. Every day there's another thread, there's another post, there's another video, there's another person who is absolutely certain that they know what's going on. I did this, I did this, I triangulated this. And here's the crazy part. Half of those people disagree with each other. And more than half of them are not experts on anything. And most of them, well, shade intended, are not even journalists. They're content creators.
Y'all are not even journalists. You're not valid. You're only a content creator. Shots out to my content creators, okay? Shots shouts out to y'all for doing y'all thing. But for him to try to minimize who you are because he considers himself a journalist, and hey, I think that he is a journalist, but you know what? On YouTube, we're all the same. So if you consider yourself to be more, go somewhere else, because you have no more access than what we have access, except for you have a bigger platform. Now, look how he comes for the people who's keeping the story in the news. Watch that, guys. He dismisses the content creators and says, you're not a journalist, you're a content creator. I'm definitely not a journalist. I've never said I was a journalist. My degree is not in journalism. My master's is in leadership and organizational development. Now, I can do that. But to try to dismiss people on the internet when he was doing the same thing is a telling story. So today, he's basically telling you all that the audio is fake. If you watch his 5 o'clock show, I had to get up out of there because the next show is more of this. He wants to tell you pretty much that you're doing too much. This is all after he is having problems with his account. Now, I don't know what happened with his account. I can't speak on that, but it looked like the folks have gotten to Don Lemon.
Or X something or whatever. They're not even journalists. They're just content creators that are looking for clicks. But they are.
We are content creators that's looking for clicks. But if you all was in his live earlier, it said that toxicology report, and then he updated it to say fake. It never said fake. So is he looking for clicks? Because you are constantly making titles, but in the video, you're not providing what you say. So when you say we're looking for clicks, I think you're looking for them too. Okay.
All equally convinced that they are right and that they know something. And then this weekend,
someone said, this is what happened when authorities don't take control of the narrative. I agree with her.
Now, I did not want to, everyone's asking for information. I want to knock down information because people are just putting things on the internet. And I fault mainly, I fault the investigators. I fault
people are putting things on the internet, and you are doing a live on a fake toxicology report, which why would you do a video on a fake toxicology report? You are helping to put the false information into the internet. And I'm not a journalist, and I know that, but listen to his talking points.
Investigators on not having a timely response to these things, not having a cadence about a regular cadence about updating people. So I fault them. This weekend, a document starts making the rounds online claiming to be Nolan's toxicology report. Did you guys?
Why are we talking about a fake toxicology report? Let's talk about what's real. Talk about what is your opinion on the boys having a give, sing, go and netting almost $100,000. He doesn't want to talk about that. Pay attention, people.
See that?
Whitewashed.
Hit the like and the thumbs up. Let me know if you've seen it. I'll just put it up for a minute. And so Andy put that up. So this is, let me just tell you.
Again, why are we talking about fake information? We don't need to talk about this.
It's not real. According to all sources, it's not real, including the people who are in Mississippi. Now everybody's got the name of it and the department and all the things. And anyways, it's fake and they're warning. I'll play a report from you in just a little bit. But this weekend, this document was making its round online, claiming to be Nolan's toxicology report. The family says it's fake. The representatives say it's fake. The officials in Mississippi say it's fake.
Here's the deal. I knew it was fake. I mean, I'm not doing a video on a fake toxicology report. But here's the deal. Why are we not talking about the things that we know to be true? He has not said anything about the gifts and go. Watch his commentary. He has slowly backed back. And now he's telling you what you saw is fake, which is odd because if that's what he thought in the beginning, have your opinion. But why a sudden switch all of a sudden?
The official toxicology report hasn't even been released yet. And people are arguing over this anyways. You can take it down, Andy. People are arguing over this anyways, as if it is real.
I don't know one content creator that's arguing over this. If y'all know any, let me know.
Again, it is not real. I like to bat down the middle.
Can I just be honest with y'all for a quick second? You know, this thing, this YouTube thing, it is really strange because you will grow to like people and not like them personally because we don't know these people. But when people do stuff like this, I am turned off, like totally turned off, because this shows you who they are inside. Okay. To come out and try to tell us that we did not see what we saw, we did not hear what we heard. You're trying to tell us that we're stupid. So you're using that same playbook that they use. Now, if he decided not to talk about the case anymore, that's fine. But to come out and try to convince people is a problem. This is a problem for me.
This information. And look, I had to laugh for a second. It's laughable. It's not funny. Not because it's funny.
And another thing, to try to put yourself above people that you call regular content creators. Listen, I am from the corporate world where people work real jobs. Let me tell y'all something. Don't dismiss these content creators. These folks is over here getting their money, okay? So while he's dismissing them, telling them, you're just regular content creators, yeah, I disagree. I disagree. He's a journalist, but we're just content creators.
Because it is unbelievable. We have reached the point where we're debating evidence that apparently isn't even evidence. We're debating this audio thing it's not evidence yet. I mean, look, it could lead to something. But as I said last week, even the woman who did the audio.
Listen to this, guys. We are debating things that's not evidence. What are you saying? I'm so confused right now. Can somebody please help me out in the chat? Who's debating it? I mean, I don't think we're debating it. We heard what we heard. Yeah, we heard what we heard, and I didn't need to hear a transcript. But he wants to tell you that what you heard was confirmation bias. He wants to tell you that you only heard that because you saw the script. Where is all of this coming from? They got to him.
Analysis says this is my interpretation, and it should not be the only interpretation, but people are taking it as if it's fact, as if it's exactly what the people said. We don't know that yet.
Who don't know that? You don't know that. I know what I heard. This is very interesting, guys. Be careful out here in these YouTube streets. Everything is not what it seems to be, and the people ain't who they pretend to be.
I'm sorry. I know that you guys, people want to hear that. And they're like, she said this, she said Nolan, she said dead, she said that.
This is absolutely crazy. I don't want to hear anything. In fact, I'm not even going to say what I wish, but I wish that these friends wouldn't be so heavily involved. We believe they're involved simply because of the way that they've acted and what they have done. If you go back and watch his videos, he said the same thing. Now you're backtracking and coochie popping.
We don't know yet. I've heard things. I've heard like words, but we don't know.
I've heard like words. You should probably stop talking about the case. Seriously. I mean, you're misleading people. You have a totally different take on things in just a couple of days. You're scared. You're afraid. Just stop talking about the case. Don't try to convince people that what they heard was not true. Don't try to tell people that the audio is fake. You call yourself a journalist. I believe you are a journalist. So why are you trying to play people as if they're stupid?
Then I started thinking about the people caught in the middle of all this, and which is the main reason we should slow our roll on a lot of this stuff. Nolan's mother.
Oh, you care about Nolan's mother? Listen, y'all. I just wanted to point this out. This is very concerning. We see what we see. We hear what we hear. Isn't it interesting? Is it just to you or is it just to me? Now, y'all know how I am. If you've been following me for any amount of time, I don't have any loyalty to anybody. If I see something, I'm calling it out. This is what my channel is about. So I watched Don Lemon. Okay. So I was pretty like, what is happening here? This is a whole different thing from what I saw. You can be impartial and not take a stance, but you actually just took a stance. You took a stance. This is very concerning, as we have saw with our people. They have been bootlickers. You know, they go to the other side and, you know, they want to worship. Y'all already know. Okay. So I just want everybody to be careful when you out here in these YouTube streets. Whatever you heard is what you heard. Don't allow anybody to tell you what you heard. When people heard the audio before and I said, I didn't hear it, I never allowed anybody to make me hear anything. Then after, you know, it came out a little bit more clear, I was like, okay, I can hear it now. But for him to come onto his platform and use his platform to try to switch people over to say that y'all didn't hear what y'all heard is very, very concerning. Now, I don't know if you guys watch him, but I noticed today he did have some issues with his account because there was a lot of, I'm sorry, I won't say a lot of, but the lives, for some reason, when I was clicking it, I don't know what was going on. And he even said in the live that something was going on. So I don't know. It looks like Don Lemon has switched sides. He makes up this ridiculous lie telling us that the audio is fake, basically telling us we need to wait. What you need to understand, Mr. Don Lemon, if we were not here on this good old internet trying to figure out what happened, coming up with our own theories, nothing would be going on. You as a journalist, I'm sure you know way more about these cases than we could ever dream. But for you to use your platform to cast doubt on us and then to say, mention his mother is flat out bootlicking is what it is. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments.
I think they just accidentally told us who killed Nolan Wells, and I don't think they even realized it. But everybody is happy and celebrating this newfound information except one person. That person is Officer Tatum. But here's the thing. He got exposed today, too. These white folks exposed Officer Tatum's tea. His career is over after this, bro. Because how can anybody take anything he says seriously after you hear what they just found out about Tatum? Earlier in the day yesterday, Cajun Navy, who, by the way, is the independent organization who went looking for Nolan and discovered Nolan Wells' body. They don't work for the family of Nolan Wells and they don't work for the friends of Nolan Wells. They are an independent body. They released what they believe is the most likely orders of events leading up to Nolan Wells' death. Starts off that before 3:23 p.m., nobody really knows what took place before 3:23 p.m., but by all accounts, Nolan Wells was alive before 3:23 p.m. The reason why they don't believe that Nolan Wells was dead at this time is because there's like this photo of Nolan Wells in the water surrounded by boats. They're claiming the photo was taken around that time, 4:27. Now, once the friends got done with the emergency call that we heard, the audio where they were claiming they were sinking, once they got done with that call, and then whatever they had to do with the boat, there's a photo at 4:27 p.m. of them getting ready to go. At 4:31, they had left the island and they were sailing off. At 5 p.m., this is where the nonsense starts right here. This is where the nonsense starts, okay? Now, if we are to believe the friend, again, people, we have to explore different theories because we don't know exactly what took place. If we were to believe the friends and they said, hey, he was not with us, we have no idea where he was, but we ain't do nothing wrong. If we just take that into consideration for a moment, wouldn't these next 4 series of events be a little odd? So they, quote unquote, left at 4:31 p.m. At 5 p.m., all right, Matthew Lamp states a passenger was pretty certain a person was part of a group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m. He says the Bertram with blue top left shortly afterwards and fast, not believed to be a factor at this time. I beg a differ. And the reason I must beg a differ is because even Tatum, the dude who came out and said there's no evidence of any foul play happening, that Tatum, he was forced to admit through an eyewitness that someone saw Nolan get into a fight or an altercation with somebody else. And they DM'd that person, hey, you're going to jail. I seen what you did. You're going to jail. I seen you and Nolan having that altercation. I seen it. The person who Nolan had the altercation with have not been identified yet. We don't know their names. We don't know when the altercation took place.
There's multiple people involved. People that may have seen Nolan last, but is not being truthful and coming forward as to what they saw, who was with him last. And we have various people that have come out or come to us with the information. And one was sent in a DM honing in on one particular person that may have been in an altercation with Nolan that alluded to the fact that, and I messaged this person because I want to talk directly to the person that I saw the DM from. And we haven't talked to this person yet. But the person said in the DM to another kid that is associated, not any of the kids that I interviewed to talk to, but that could be associated to some degree, that knew Nolan, that this person wrote a message saying, me and my husband saw you arguing with Nolan, and to the effect of you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
That would mean that Nolan Wells was involved in an altercation that's unaccounted for, that has not really been accounted for yet. Nobody is stepping forward to speak on this altercation. We don't know when the altercation took place, how it took place. We know nothing about it. So hence when you tell me there is also another altercation that's unaccounted for at about 5 p.m., after apparently Nolan Wells was saw around 4:27 p.m., an altercation around 5 p.m., according to y'all, took place. And then by 7:30, nobody knew where Nolan Wells was. Yeah, I will beg a differ when you say, oh, this means nothing. Of course it means something. Nolan Wells was involved in an unaccounted for altercation, and that's being documented by the very people who is anti-conspiracy, who is anti-the family, who is anti-people like myself who believe Nolan Wells was murdered. So those same people is telling you there's an unaccounted for altercation that Nolan Wells was involved in. It was unaccounted for. And it took place right around this time, right around 5. Because by 7:30, by 6 p.m., no, there's no Nolan Wells. He's nowhere in sight. There were people who was actually on the island. They said they left at 7:30. They say, yo, we were one of the last people to leave the island. We would have seen Nolan if he was there. There was no sighting of Nolan. I can't remember the last time I saw Nolan. Last time I saw him was earlier in the day. But somehow this altercation that was so brutal and so violent and so bad that the people who was involved in it had to hop on their boat and leave immediately. Look right here where it says, right? Look, okay. Matthew Lim states a passenger was pretty certain a person was part of a group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m. He says the Bertram with blue top left shortly afterwards and fast. Now, I don't know why somebody would be leaving in a boat fast. What are you in a hurry for? If you were just involved in a little scuffle on the island, like you not, right? Like there's no police around to arrest you. Like, why are you leaving on that boat super fast? Like, what was the hurry? Like, what was the urgency? Police ain't about to arrest you. They're not there to arrest you. No, you were on the island. Look, you should be able to hop in your boat and sail off. For you to hop in that boat and boom, you were running away from something. Now, I don't know what they were running away from. I honestly don't know what they're running away from. But you can't tell me that's not suspicious, bro. You can't tell me that timeline doesn't give you cause to pause. Now, here's the thing, though. Tatum hates the fact that KJ Navy released this timeline. The very people who claim that they just want to find out what happened to Nolan, we should start race hustling and stop race hustling, stop race grifting, just look at the facts. KJ Navy and independent source put out the facts, and we're looking at the facts, and guess what? They're now upset because they feel like KJ Navy took away from their narrative. And they're fueling the rumors and they're fueling the fire. I'm sorry, bro. This is a neutral, non-biased, company. They just put out the statements of facts. And the statements of facts, yet again, point in the direction of something really bad happened to Nolan Wells.
I'm not going to do that. We reviewed this thing, and it's a nothing burger. I don't even know why the Cajun Navy put this out. There's nothing there. Maybe it gives people fodder. They can create a lie because they know you're not going to read 26 pages. But I'm going to have Grant read the synopsis because we went through.
If Tatum is supposed to be neutral and unbiased, why do Tatum react so, he reacted so defiantly against any piece of anything that's being put out that does not perfectly fit his narrative? Or a narrative that, that people who think like him is putting out there. And then I saw this video, man, by this wonderful content creator called Jay Marie. And maybe, just maybe, this is the reason why Tatum is so defiant against anything that doesn't fit his narrative and the narrative that he's trying to perpetuate.
Why aren't we seeing footage of them returning that day? We know that Nolan was with them when they left. So why do they have the security cams from that morning, but not that night? Whose grandparents live there? Jax Patalo, whose family owns a pharmacy. It goes back deeper than that because George Patalo Sr., which is Jax's great-grandfather who is deceased, as it turns out, his great-grandfather was appointed and served on the staff of Mississippi Governor Cliff Finch. As you can see, I've confirmed Jax's relation to him. And as it turns out, Cliff Finch, well, he was in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1960 to 1964 and supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor, to preserve segregation in the state. The federal grand jury conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And those sort of political connections seem to trickle down through the generations. So now we know why the governor got involved. And I started looking into the lawyer that's handling the defamation case from the Bart family. So from 2015 to 2018, he was state director of Americans for Prosperity. Then in 2018 to 2020, he was vice president of Stand Together while being vice president of Americans for Prosperity. Stand Together is a Charles Koch nonprofit, and Americans for Prosperity is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group affiliated with Charles Koch and David Koch. And if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they're evil. Guess who's one of the major funders for Turning Point USA? Major donors for the Koch brothers also are primary financial pillars for Turning Point USA, specifically their campus operations. And guess who used to serve as the director of urban engagement?
If you tell me that somebody is connected to that person, that's connected to that person, and that person, and that person, I might tell you, maybe you reach it. But when it comes to Tatum, no. Tatum is so openly contradictory, hypocritical, boldly, blatantly bought out when it comes to this Nolan Wells situation that you have to ask yourself why. Like, why would somebody risk their integrity, risk their good name, their face card? Why would somebody risk their credibility for something that has nothing to do with him, essentially? But now we know the answer. Now we know. Now we know why they only reached out to Officer Tatum out of everybody. Isn't that strange? They could have reached out to Law and Crime. They could have reached out to TMZ. They could have reached out to a million different outlets. They reached out to Officer Tatum and Officer Tatum only. He's the person they chose to come and sit down with the kids to have a conversation. And now we probably know why they chose him, because they're all connected. They all are connected. Tatum was brought in to do damage control. And I'll be real with y'all, right? I'll be real with y'all. He has done a wonderful job in stirring up white folks. He has done a wonderful job in galvanizing white folks. See, he can't galvanize black folks. We don't respect him. He don't got that cachet. He's like he can't show up and get nothing done. But he has done a beautiful job at galvanizing white folks against Nolan Wells' family. The most sickening part about all of this, right, was when Tatum says he's not donating to Nolan Wells' GoFundMe because he don't know what happened yet, right? And he has gone on this absolute tirade for the last couple of weeks where he's saying, oh my God, the family is in this for money. Benjamin Crump is in this for money. He has critiqued the fundraiser. He has critiqued the Give, Send, Go. He has critiqued everything about this family raising money after Nolan Wells passed. But here is Tatum reacting to Nolan Wells' friends asking for $200,000 on a GoFundMe. On a Give, Send, Go. Here is his reaction to this. Now you're about to witness how biased and just like clearly void of all principle this man is.
So anybody that believes that these boys need legal fees taken care of or whatever else they need, go ahead and support. Go ahead and support. And let me tell you, in my heart of hearts, after reviewing all this stuff and listening to everything, I want to support them. I'm trying to be fair. And I can give them a popularity, I can push it out there and let y'all make an opportunity. I'm going to try to be fair until the conclusion of the case that I'm not going to give to either GoFundMe or Give, Send, Goes. But I'm going to tell you what, I'll put it out there if y'all want to support.
There's absolutely nothing fair about what Tatum is doing. Tatum has never shared Nolan Wells like GoFundMe or Give, Send, Go. He's never shared any fundraiser belonging for Nolan Wells. Even towards the very beginning, Tatum never shared any GoFundMes for Nolan Wells' family to hire, like professionals and private investigators and other things. He didn't donate, not once, as he just admitted. He never shared their GoFundMe link, but Tatum is in his comment section sharing the Give, Send, Go link, which just happens to be a Give, Send, Go that's to fund legal fees for them to sue Benjamin Crump and Nolan Wells' family. So Tatum is saying, man, well, I'm trying to be fair. I'm not going to give, but if you guys want to give, here's a link. Why you ain't never shared Nolan Wells' link? Tatum, you are a despicable human being you are going at some point in life, I don't know when, probably in the afterlife, you're going to have to reap what you're sowing, bro. You're going to have to be accountable for all the evil you're doing on earth. This is just evil. There's no way to put this is just evil. There's no other way to cut it. This is just evil. You're picking and picking and picking and picking and picking at this family. Leave them alone. If you don't support, but why continue to talk about them and berate them? They're grieving. Leave them alone. Leave a grieving family alone, bro. Stop it. Like, what's wrong with you? He's talking about it to be fair. Man, ain't nothing fair about this, man. But let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, okay? Y'all think Tatum is bought out? I think so. What do you guys think about that new timeline? Let me know, okay? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this
Roland Martin.
got a message for the Black family. Roll that beautiful beat for the Jasmine. Let's go.
Important thing that I think we have to confront is that what we are describing today, 70% of kids being born out of wedlock, fewer African Americans getting married. You have a higher number of Black women who are going to college versus Black men who are in college, and they're saying, who am I going to marry later? All of this is absolutely preventable.
Listen to Roland sound like a Sunday pastor. Sound like one of them good Southern pastors, don't he?
This country in various states to be strong just where they are. And strong states mean strong cities mean strong neighborhoods mean strong blocks mean strong streets mean strong houses. And that means that somebody in that house has to say, this is how we are going to operate. And what that means is that if you impregnate a child at an early age, you're going to take care of that child. If you don't know what it requires.
Pastor, what did he say?
Can someone like Roland Martin with a platform as big as his, journalistic integrity, democratic position, can they preach Black family values while living kinky lifestyles behind the scenes that don't involve their wives? Can they do that? Can people like him get away with that with no hair on his head and his wife being a preacher? Does he get a pass?
Yes, he does. He gets a pass. He gets a pass, sister. You talk about Roland Martin. Roland Martin is the savior of the Blacks. And this guy sits up here and he pontificates from up on high to everyone as if he is somehow more knowledgeable, somehow more grounded, definitely much smarter than you. Well, how smart is Roland if he walks into a woman's bedroom and sees cameras on and doesn't know he's being taped? How smart is that, dum-dum?
To affect Roland Martin. Bro, listen, niggas don't care that niggas cheat on their wives. I'm just being real, bro, right? So I don't think, like at all. So I don't think this will affect Roland Martin at all, which is why I don't understand why he's ducking it so much. And just address it, bro, because nobody really give a damn.
Yeah, but he loses the moral authority to talk shit to other people. You understand that? He should have never had the moral authority to do that.
He's held so many people to the fire. I mean, even me. Oh, your platform is deplorable. You lie. You do this. What I got on you ain't no lie, brother.
That's deplorable.
And the way that I give my information is real.
Yeah.
You just hadn't been across my platform. You just hadn't been across my desk. Now you across my desk. I wonder what his thoughts are going to be now, because his lawyer is saying, oh, we respect everything you do. Tasha, please just don't put out. Make sure that they say it's a woman. I think he's just more concerned with, I'm not gay narrative. It's gone.
F you, Roland. Yeah, F you, Roland Martin. You've been up on your high horses for multiple decades, talking down to everyone. Because you can remember random dates that don't mean a damn thing. Because you keep talking about electoral politics. Meanwhile, you will not use that ability, those thoughts, those ideas, that knowledge about politics to force the political party that you're affiliated with to get shit done for Black America. Instead, you are a attack dog for the Democrats. You should be an attack dog for Black America. The fact is, you got a bunch of, you have a majority of people that watch the Roland Martin show are fine with Roland fighting for the Democratic Party as if the Democratic Party is a Black party. It ain't a Black party. It ain't even a block party. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a Black party with on a predominantly Black street. The Democratic Party is a liberal party, and it services all types of folks, LGBTQ of all colors and coordinations. Immigrants of all colors and coordinations. Other countries, not even people that don't even live in the United States, get priority seating in the Democratic table of importance and priority. You understand what I'm saying? So, Roland doesn't fight for any of that, so I have no problems calling Roland Roro out on this. Not to mention, it's despicable that a guy who likes talking about what Black Americans aren't doing, what Black men need to do. Remember that whole shit when Justin Fairfax offed himself and then shot his wife and offed himself? We had to listen to this live stream. Oh, we got to talk. Black people got to talk. You gotta get my iPad. Give me my iPad. Give me my iPad. We gotta do better, black man. See, it comes at it from the guys in the positioning of a man who is a faithful, good-hearted man who's, that's taking care of his family. Meanwhile, he don't have no kids. He don't have kids. It looks like he don't even have a marriage. He's on the Tim Scott, Coy Booker side of the game. You understand what I'm saying? These are the side of the game. Lindsey Grahamville. He's in Lindsey Graham Street. All right, that's where they at. You can be delusional if you want to be. I refuse to be that way. So, when you criticize Republicans, it should only be allowed under the guise or under the pretext that you ain't doing the same exact ish. And when it's found out that you are, or even worse, then folks should come at you. People should call you out. I know Roland glad he got that money out of Kamala when he did. Like, whew, dodged a bullet. Got that damn near $500,000 out of her ass, didn't you? Here goes the other thing I wanted to point out before I forget. If what Tasha K and what Poetic Flacco say is true, and what they've been reporting is legit, and I have no reason to disbelieve it, here's one thing I want to be clear that I believe. I have no evidence, but I believe this. I believe that anything that Roland Martin is into, other people knew about it. I don't think Roland Martin is all that great at hiding shit. He's too arrogant. I believe that anything that Roland was into, everyone already knew it. They just don't want to say anything. They just wouldn't dare say anything. That's all it is. If Roland's been if Roland is engaging in anything unscrupulous or anything untoward for a married heterosexual man with anyone other than his wife, believe me, other people know about it, just not saying anything about it. That's my opinion on it. Like I stated, I got no evidence to that fact. I just don't think that the world operates that way, that you could for decades keep up the shenanigans. What? If you go watch the Tasha K live stream, go watch it. Listen to what is said. I don't want to repeat it because that's not the kind of channel that I have, and that's not really my lane. My lane is the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party, the needs, the issues, the concerns of the black community and working class people, the hurting class and the working class. That is the lane that I'm in. But this is adjacent because it's Roland. And because Roland has made it a project of every couple of weeks, going on his massive platform of 2 million subscribers just on his YouTube channel. I'm not counting his Instagram and his Facebook and his network. And saying to all those millions of people, black media, independent black media ain't nothing. I'm bigger than all them put together. Their names, we ain't even got to learn their names. When Nina Turner was running for office, I and Roland supported her. Roland knew I was supporting her. Roland knew that she was coming on my show weekly. But to discredit me, he'll throw me under the bus and lump me in with people who haven't done any political work. When I was on the Bernie Sanders podcast, he knew about it. What I'm saying is, I'm only doing this because he deserves it, and I believe he's a scumbag. And I don't believe, and this is an opportunity, hopefully for people who don't believe that Roland is a human being. And even worse, people that are delusional enough not to believe anything Roland says without checking sources, without verifying, without looking at him as a person who's not only fallible but also has self-interest. Roland is a multimillionaire. Your broke asses are following this man around as he leads us continually nowhere. Nowhere. I won't be a party of it. And since this is what my channel is about, and it has been about this for a couple decades, I'm going to keep doing it. The Tasha K live stream was interesting. Hope people go check it out because there's very few people. Check this out, man. Sometimes your message the message will come from an unlikely source. A new source or a source that you're not all that familiar with in this regard. But you don't get to determine or predict or control who speaks truth to power. You don't get to determine who's the person that gives you the information that's useful. So do you want to fix the leak in your roof or not? You rather the roof just keep on leaking, huh? Because you don't like the person that told you how to fix it. What, you're waiting for the guy that sold you the roof to come tell you that he owes you a new roof? That's what you're waiting on if you're waiting for Don Lemon and Joy Reid and the rest of the certified Democrats to come out the woodwork. They ain't going to do that. So, because they're concerned, they don't care if the Democrats lie to us. They don't care if the Democrats are stringing us along like little puppy dogs who've been kicked too much, who are startled by loud voices or sounds. They're quiet, and they will remain so. They have no obligation to you. They have an obligation to their careers and to their fellow Democrats, and that's what they're going to exercise. I'm going to say something. I had not planned on saying this. I'm going to say this because I'm Tim Black and I wasn't going to mention it. But D.L. Hughley and Roland Martin, I believe, are a prime example of what is definitely holding Black America back politically. There are people that would rather come after me because they disagree with me about immigration than go after people like Roland Martin and D.L. Hughley. I'm fighting for Black Americans. Working class Black Americans, working class. It's very important that you understand that there's a difference. The needs, priorities of the well-off, the middle class, upper middle class, the paid, the elites, is totally different than that of the working class. You understand that? So they have different agendas. As long as poor Black Americans think that elites have their back, poor Black Americans will stay poor, broke, in jail, and dying early. You understand? And I don't think you really understand. I don't think you really appreciate what I'm telling you. Because just like you'll listen to a D.L. Hughley tell you, Black women are the most educated group in America. And then listen to a liar like Charlemagne's co-sign it.
Yes, it's exactly what I like. Let's talk about it, though. What do you think scares white people in Georgia about Stacey Abrams, other than the fact that, she might be hard to control?
She's scary. She's scary. She's everything that represents progress and a change. When you look at the most educated segment of our society, it is Black women. Mm-hmm. The most, that's not for applause. That's a statistical fact. They seem to have this grip on both what has happened and what can happen. When you took...
As long as you believe nonsensical lies to placate you into thinking the Democrats did something for you they didn't do. The average white family has 10 times the wealth of the average Black family. How in the hell is it supposed to make sense without government intervention, without government assistance, without some type of program, without some type of policy implemented, how in the hell could black women coming from a disenfranchised position where only 44% of black Americans even own their own homes? 75% of white Americans do. How in the hell do you think black women could be surpassing white women in education, maybe in debt, and then believe that you're also beating Asian women? First of all, it's only about, I don't know, only 5% of the population is Asian. And the poor Asians don't even make it to the country. You understand what I'm saying? So they're a cherry-picked demographic. That's why they're a model minority. And the kicker of it all is not even done to help you. It's done to keep you from vocalizing. Because what would happen if black women realized they weren't the leading demographic in anything except dying young from breast cancer and being trafficked? If black women knew that, then black women might stop voting Democrat, or they might start pressuring the Democrats. But everybody would rather lie to you. And they know even when if someone is willing to piss you off by telling you the truth, that you do look fat in them jeans, or those jeans make you look fat. If someone is willing to even tell you what you don't want to hear, knowing you ain't gonna do nothing but punish them for telling you the truth, they know not enough of you will even want to listen. So the lie gets to continue, and people like Roland continue to pick up their money. You understand why I'm telling you? It's not because I want to disrespect black women. I'm telling you because I respect us. And it's like, I heard this thing about elephants. Elephants are massive creatures. But if you take a baby elephant, and I think they tied the baby elephant's leg with a rope, and then they put that on a spike. And when it was the baby, the elephant wasn't able to move it. For some reason, the elephant never forgets that. And no matter how big the elephant grows, no matter how powerful the elephant becomes, it cannot get out of its memory that it could not move the spike. And they use that on that elephant its entire life. The elephant can easily topple the spike and go get it in, go wherever it wants. But since it's been conditioned to believe that it can't move that spike, they ain't got to do nothing. The elephant's already living in its own mental prison. And see, that's what I believe. It's happening to black women. If black women decided the Democrats weren't doing right by them, the Democrats would have to make a decision very quick. And we know what it would be. But as long as you can keep people lying to the black woman, as long as black women are delusional or being deluded or being fooled, and as long as black people who are willing to take money to lie to black women about the condition of black women, then we're staying stuck in that mental prison. Because see, I believe the Democratic Party can do anything the Democratic Party wants to do. This idea that, they can't do it, you can't word it this way. You know what, we've been able to put a man on the moon. We've been able to lock down the country during COVID for a year. Remember that shit? I think the Democrats could find a way to help black women and black men, black families, if they really wanted to. That's what I believe. Yeah. And you know what? They wouldn't have a damn choice if black women really knew how bad black women are doing. Because obviously, how bad black men are doing ain't enough. It's just not enough of us. But with black women with us, maybe we could get some shit done if we truly band together on this. That's it. Hey, being so long-winded on it, but I just want people to understand. Give me a one in the comment section if you understand the point I'm trying to make. It's unhelpful to lie to a diabetic because you don't want to You don't want that diabetic to stop eating your damn pig feet because that's your best money maker. It's not because they care about you. It's because you're their best money maker and they know you like eating their pig feet. And I'm telling you, the pig feet is killing you. You need to know that. Not be lied to someone telling you it's a health food. I'm serious. I'm committed. And I ain't taking no for an answer. And I'm punching the establishment in the eye. I'm going to close that eye. Yeah.
Catch Tim Black live on the most dangerous show in America. Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. Don't miss out on the real. Stay dangerous.
In jail for a freaking gummy that they wasn't going out there committing no. That's the state I live in, and I was, in the barbershop today, talking with a lot of the brothers, and a lot of the brothers are very frustrated right now, especially with this stuff going on here in Texas. And you have to understand about this situation in Texas. It's not about whether you agree with using those products that they ban. It's two things for a lot of people they're talking about with this situation here in Texas. One, these Republicans claim they're about limited government. They claim they're about personal freedom, let a person live how they want to live, right? And this particular Republican Party now, definitely the one under Trump, don't believe in limited government. They don't believe that people should have personal freedom and responsibility for themselves. They believe in government overreach. And then on top of that, the jail penalties they want to put on people for having a freaking gummy, right? So you give people more time in jail for a freaking gummy that they wasn't going out there committing no mass crimes, underneath the influence of anything. Only thing they were doing is maybe going to sleep or just being relaxed, or, maybe help with their pain because they can't afford some of these pharmaceutical medications that's running people's pockets. If whether you got insurance or not, it still can run your pockets. So it was helping a lot of people medically. And, it's people that don't have a medical issue, it's easy for you to run your mouth and say what somebody else don't need when you're okay. And so what these people did here in Texas, for me, it just really crossed the red line. And it's like, once again, it's not about being for anything. It's about your personal freedoms. You as a grown person, what politician has a right to tell you as a grown man and woman, as an American, how you should live your life? When we got people roaming around this country that was, like I said before, in the freaking Epstein files. We got people around here who are human traffickers. All kind of horrible things that we all in society would say they need to get them, but they leave them alone. You got people out here doing all kind of wrong things, SA to all kind of people, and they get a slap on the wrist. But if somebody have a freaking gummy or a brownie or something, they go into prison? Really? Yeah. We got to talk about some of that tonight. We got to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, especially a lot of you who live in Texas, who could be listening tonight, and definitely Black Americans. We have a large population in Texas, and we can definitely swing this whole state when we want to. It's just all about what we choose to do as a community. So we will get to talk about more so that tonight, and also being surgical on what we do, because we have not abandoned transaction voting, but we always have to think when it comes to that, we're not looking at parties. We're looking at what's going to benefit us as a community. We also don't get into, we don't want to make the mistake the immigrant groups made, right? And the mistake the immigrant groups made was not taking it serious when they actually could have prevented some of these issues and problems for themselves. We don't want to repeat what the immigrants did, and then later we start complaining. We don't want to do that. So we'll be talking about that tonight also, ladies and gentlemen. We are still trucking along. I think it was September, as I said before. We will be dropping a new app. What else is coming up down the line? Soraya, her website should be dropping, I think, either this week or this weekend. I'll let y'all know. Soraya will have her app. Her website. So her music website, that'll be coming along. Let's see where we at. We're going down. I said we're now about 60% done with the second episode of La Sherica episode that we're working on. Like I said, just different ideas pop up, so that's what kind of slowed me down. But I want to add into those episodes. Also, just thinking off the top of my head everything I need to say to y'all. So, all right, I know y'all not trying to hear all my announcements. I just try to give y'all announcements that want to keep up with me or whatever. Even some of you who don't like me, because I know you finally. Some of you, do y'all know something? Let me tell y'all something. Real quick. We really need, and maybe I need to go search for this myself. I think we need a mental health professional to come through this platform that I could vibe with or whatever. And you know why? We have some Black people in our community with some severe mental health issues. Unfortunately, I have to deal with them at times. And it's not nothing I wanted, I asked for, to deal with some of these people that got mental health issues. And because, like in my mind, like for instance, let's say any of you make content, right? And if you just say things I don't like or something I don't agree with, I'm like, I ain't watching that. I just don't watch it. I don't leave you a comment. I don't say bad things about you. I don't do anything bad with you. I just don't watch your platform. That's it. I feel you have a right to say what you want to say. That's it. I don't have to listen to it. I'm doing my thing over here. But you have people, and I want to let y'all know this before you ever decide to become any type of content creator or whatever, people become fixated on you. And when they become fixated on you, they get almost an obsession with you. And they'll hate your guts, but they'll watch everything you do. They'll follow you everywhere you go. It's crazy. It is crazy. And so, I think maybe we need some mental. And I had talked to a sister one time about it coming through, but I didn't pursue it as much. But maybe we do need to bring somebody in to discuss those issues, because so many people got mental health issues in our community. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I think some people, in my opinion, need to be committed. Some really do. Or get a job or something. Because the one thing I won't do, it's like, it doesn't. There's no logical reason for me to follow anybody, especially if it doesn't pay my bills or pay payroll or help me get money to purchase credits, AI credits, or anything that's going to help me bring some sort of ROI, right? If you're not bringing me ROI, I don't have time to waste with you. I just don't. But it's crazy people will invest their time that's not bringing them anything. I never understood that. I never understood it. Maybe I look at things a little different than others. You say, brother, it should be members only all the time or on the app. What are you talking about? Well, okay. Let me address that. I do it because I cut down the trolling that way. Others who stream on the platform, sure, I could tell them, hey, everything is that. I could easily tell them that. But sometimes they want to talk to y'all in certain ways. My streams are different because mine comes through with a different crowd than maybe some of theirs. And I've seen some of their stuff when they stream, And the comments are very tame. It's not nothing bad. It really is, from my opinion, what I've seen. But mine, you have all the people that need the mental health professional sometime, and that's what the people that want to show up on mine. So to maybe eliminate some of that. Now, I know even some people who's dedicated, they will still pay money. Oh, yeah, they'll pay money to still be here. I promise you that. So I get what you're saying. But if a person's dedicated, they'll still pay to be on the app too. I've seen them do it with Patreon years ago. I was like, how in the world you over here? You paid to troll? I didn't realize it gets that serious. Because like if you put up a paywall, like I ain't paying you a crap for what? But to troll somebody? Nah. Like I said, people really need some mental health help. They really do. And so if you are a mental health professional and you got a LinkedIn page that I can go check, and you got all your resume on your LinkedIn page that I can look at and see and verify or whatever, because that's another thing. When I make these calls, if you don't have a LinkedIn page, I can't even do nothing with you. And the reason why I can't do nothing with you, I need to see your history. I need to see what you did. I need to see how you present yourself. I need to see everything. I'm not going to just bring you on here just because you want to be here. This is not a training platform anymore. It's a place that people need to know what they're doing. So if you say, hey, I'm a mental health professional, here's my LinkedIn. Okay, let me see it and see what you got going on. But we need to talk about mental health. Seriously. That's a big hole in our community that nobody talks about. All right, y'all. All right, my ranting about mental health for a minute. All right, y'all. So let me go ahead on and run this real quick, and we'll be right back.
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed, and him and
Ask for News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me respond to McQueen. Say, I like how chill the streams are here. It's more mature. Yeah. Okay. So I think I started doing this around the time of the last election with throwing the members only. And it just cut down a lot of issues and problems. And I know it's a conversation that's a little bit more fruitful with that, right? Versus just a free-for-all. And I like it that way. And you're right. There's a lot of unhinged people that come to, like I said, content creators deal with a lot. Y'all just don't know. We have to deal with the unhinged people, right? Trust me, we have to deal with it, or our team, whoever has to deal with it. Sometimes, it could be to a point lawyers get involved, law enforcement get involved. It's all kind of craziness that happen with some people. So I'm letting y'all know. So you want to become a content creator? Well, you can. Let me tell you that. Well, no, I can't say that, because even if you do music, you can draw somebody that's unhinged. So I can't even say that. If you do anything public, understand you can draw those people. All right. Let's get to the first thing I wanted to talk about tonight. Let me get to this first article. Talking about Texas here for a minute. And it's going to lead into what we want to talk about tonight. Okay, let me go here. All right. So Fox 26 in Houston, this was their headlines. They talking about us. Black Texas voters favor Tallarico, but frustration with Democrats runs high. This is Fox 26 in Houston. They not focusing on nobody else but us. Like any other election, what black people gonna do? What F.B.A. gonna do? How they gonna vote? Who they support? Who they don't support? Are they gonna sit it out? Are they gonna come out and vote? What are they gonna do? But see, even Fox 26 had to admit that F.B.A.s are frustrated with the Democrat Party. Okay, now before I get into that particular article, and it's not even about Mr. Tallarico here for a second. The frustration is this: you have not been given tangibles, and you've been taken for granted. And the thing since the 2024 election, with the delineation movement, wealth transfer that's going on right now, actively going on right now, a lot of Black American Renaissance is happening right now. You're right. We're not going to just vote for somebody just because they got a D in front of their name. That's just not going to happen. What are you doing for us as a community? Right? We clearly see this iteration of the Republican Party clearly don't have nothing good for us in mind at all. So I just knew on a good day, my people not going to go in mass and vote for no white Republicans. They're just not going to do it. So what they normally would do is either Probably vote for Democrats or probably couch. That's the only options they probably choose. They can say third party, but I don't really take third party seriously until I see them start winning elections. Then I'll take them seriously. I'm just being honest with you. So that's what that is. Now I know they got the Democrat socialists now. But I don't see a lot of black people really pushing the Democrat socialists. And I know why they're not pushing them too much, because they're doing that Bernie Sanders crap. What I mean by the Bernie Sanders crap, working class, this. He don't want to talk about race. He don't want to talk about reparations. He don't want to talk about anything related to black folk at all. So a lot of black people are like, well, you're not going to talk about black folk. Well, shoot, that has nothing to do with me. I'm cool, because we're not begging nobody anymore to include us. Either you're going to talk about us and include us from the beginning, or we cool. We are so cool, right? We got couches. We got anything else we're doing. We don't have to show up for any of you. It's transactional voting now. We only come out and vote when something's going to affect us and us alone. We're not voting for the rest of you. I want to let all you know. So even here in Texas, if you see black folks coming out to vote for some reason, it's not for any of you. It's for us. We're voting for ourselves now. We're not voting for, well, we got to do this for the greater good. No, we're doing it for the black good. That's it. Letting you know that up front. Now, so the mainstream media here, at least the local media here, understand black folks are frustrated. So now they got a brief here down here. They're talking about, just 7% of black Texas voters say Jasmine Crockett's primary loss makes them less likely to vote in November. As a small number, James Tallarico leads Ken Paxton 79% to 12% among black voters and 47% to 45% statewide. Who would vote for Ken Paxton as a black person right now? Can I stop? I can't even get far in this article if I stop talking. Okay, all right. Ken Paxton. Hold on. Ken Paxton. That dude ain't done nothing for black people. And this dude has been so corrupt. He's been hella corrupt. I mean, this dude, his personal business, cheating on his wife, but it still says a lot about your character. Like, what 12% of black people voting for them? Because I talk to black people who's in certain tax brackets too. And I don't hear them talking about voting for. What black people are you talking about? Are you talking about immigrants or something? Are you talking about Sambos in our community? Who's voting for Paxton? I just want to know in our community, who's doing that? I'm not telling you to go vote for Tallarico either. I'm just saying, but Paxton, no, I wouldn't give Paxton, I wouldn't vote for him with a piece of cotton out my pocket somewhere. All right, so they say here fewer than 10% of black Texas voters said they were less likely to vote in November after James Tallarico defeated Jasmine Crockett. They say about the numbers, Texas Southern University, okay, TSU, shout out to them. Poll surveyed 500 black Texas voters who voted in the recent elections. The poll comes after Tallarico has faced scrutiny over his campaign's efforts to communicate and earn the vote of black voters in the state. Last month, tension rose at a town hall event in Houston that targeted black voters. Say the poll found that 70% of black Texans were less likely to show up, say in November because of Crockett's defeat, though there are some question about Tallarico's ability to connect with black Texans and win their support. A separate poll released Monday shows 79% of black voters support the Austin Democrat, while 12% will support his Republican opponent, AG Ken Paxton, and say this support comes with black voters feel the Democrat Party isn't concerned with black voters. Now, why black people feel that way? Because they're not putting our issues on the table in writing. They focus on everything else but us. They say the poll shows 77% of black Texas voters are agreed that Democrats take black voters for granted. That's the majority of black people in the state that feel that way. So that's more so of a grassroots messaging, not mainstream. They say more than half of those polled, 54%, said they felt Crockett's race played a very important role in non-black voters choosing Tallarico in the primary, while another 26% said it was somewhat important. They say the Texas Southern poll was conducted between the 27th of July and August 2nd. They say it surveyed 500 black Texans who have voted in at least one election since 2022. They talk about the margin of error. They say that they took a second poll released on Monday, showed Tallarico with a 47 to 45% lead over Paxton among all voters. They say Latinos is going to vote for Tallarico 57 to 38, But look at the good white people. The good white people in Texas, they always do what they do. 53% to 39%. But here we go again, y'all. I want y'all to see something else. The Latinos. Let's talk about the Latinos. 57 and 38%. You see what I'm talking with the Latinos here? Let me talk to Latinos here for a minute too. This is why Black people can't be on no Black and Brown coalition. You remember the video from the Ohio Black Expo? And you remember when Mr. Sean there from the NAACP said Black and Brown, and the crowd erupted? Even after Trump got into office and did mass deportations, targeting them more than any other group, yet they will still go out and vote for white Republicans who look at them, with racial lens, don't like them. And now, how does that translate to Black America? Latinos is an extremely large group in this state. And yet y'all still not on code enough in your community. How do you, and I never understand this question. You relate so much to white supremacy that you don't care if your own people is rounded up. I wouldn't sit up there and be trying to side against my own. I wouldn't. But that's crazy. Latinos, I just have to tell you this. You're part of the problem politically. You're a big part of the problem. You want to say Black and Brown, but you don't do Black and Brown when it's time to go vote in that voter booth. You vote with the whites. Yes, I know Tallarico, they say 57%, but it shouldn't be 57%. In y'all case, it should be 90%. 100% in y'all case with all the deportations. You would think that. Now, some may say, well, not all of them are immigrants. Some of them they're citizens, so they okay. But they got family, though. They got friends. They got people they know. Trust me. I'm from Texas. I know what I'm talking about. Especially if you're in the Valley. And from Texas, you know what I'm talking about, the Valley. If you start, or if not the Valley, you start from Corpus Christi on down. You can't tell me you don't know nobody who's an immigrant. You got immigrants living in those areas. They're there. So that's been the problem. Even when you talk about the election, right? Because that's why I got so upset about the Clyburn situation. He want to say, well, if 10% more Black people came out to vote, she would have been the president. No, if 10% of Latinos would have came out to vote, she would have been the president. Stop blaming Black voters. Black voters did what they did. Okay, if they sat it out, what did Black voters get out of the last administration? We wasn't getting free food. We wasn't getting job fairs. We wasn't getting none of that stuff. So what incentive did we have to come out and put her in office? All you threw up is fear tactics. Project 2025. Oh, they gonna get you. That's just not gonna work. We were enslaved in this country. You can't get no more horrible than that. You can't. We were enslaved for 250 years. Unless it was going to put us back into that, you're not going to scare nobody with that. The people that had more to lose were people that had immigrant ties. And it's not just one group like Latinos. It was other African groups some Africans go vote with them white Republicans too. And here's the crazy part. Y'all help me with this. You say you vote with the Republicans because of Christianity? Really? Christianity? How is it that the Republican convention news reports say the app that's out there for the gay men, it goes through the roof when the Republican convention? I thought that should be happening during the Democrat convention, right? You have a lot of these dudes who are Republicans who are chasing pussy. That's not, according to the Bible, that's not what Christians do. These guys are out here supporting a foreign nation, just indiscriminately bombing people. That's against, and taking lives. Isn't that against the 10 Commandments? How are they Christians? Let's come on, let's talk. How are they Christians when they can't even follow the 10 Commandments? You shall not kill. And they'll be the main ones supporting war, foreign wars. Look at our economy right now. Look at your gas prices. And when gas prices go up, everything else go up because everything is transported by some sort of a vehicle. So they got to, in turn, the businesses got to turn that fuel cost to everything else. So the prices go up. They don't even care about you. And they surely don't care about the F.B.A. So help me to understand why you will sit and they don't believe in abortion. So you only support a party because they don't believe in something that's a personal choice? Last time I checked, we all gonna be judged individually. If a woman chooses to do that, that's between her and her God, not her God and me. I mean, look at what look. I'm trying to understand y'all. I'm just talking logically. You say you support them because they believe in Christianity. Is it Christian to close hospitals? Is it Christian to take Medicaid away from people who's sick? Is that Christian? Would Jesus take away health care from somebody? Would Jesus close a hospital from somebody? Would he do that? I'm just trying to figure out, would he do that? Would Jesus want to disenfranchise anybody for any reason? Like taking away people's ability to vote in their particular state in the democracy, right? Would Jesus do that? I don't think Jesus would do that, especially when the motive is dishonesty. Jesus would not do that. So how you support a party that's want to take things from the poor? Didn't Jesus tell us to support poor people and we'll be blessed by supporting the poor? Yet this particular party that's been in this state for 30 years, they complain about old property taxes, this. Y'all been in control for 30 years. What are you talking about? Y'all have done everything possible to harm the working class person. It doesn't make sense how y'all vote like that. There's no way I'm going to go vote for somebody to take my job away. I'm going to vote for somebody to take childcare away from me. That doesn't make sense. And the thing is, you are broke. You don't have no money. That's what I don't understand. Listen, when you're a rich person, that childcare and all that other mess don't affect you because you got it like that. You don't care about gas prices. You got money. You don't care. You don't care if the gas price is $100 a gallon. You got it. But the rest of you who are out there voting for these people, and yet you're broke, and they getting rich, and yet you getting put more in the poorhouse. Some of you getting evicted. Some of you living on the street now because you can't afford anything. But you keep voting for people that's taking stuff away from you. I don't understand that. And it's not nothing about the Democrat Party for me. It's about, I don't understand how y'all vote like that. You're not rich enough to vote with them people. You know, back in the day, they used to say that about the Republican Party. They would say Republicans are for the rich because you have to be rich to be a Republican, and Democrats for the poor. Now, the Democrats are just as much as like the Republicans now. They used to kind of be branded like that, but they the same, but they just a little bit different with it. But I'm talking about the Republican Party because they are in control of the country. They in control of the White House. They in control of the Congress. They in control of all this stuff. And you look at how the country is in chaos right now. Why would you want to give people that's causing chaos more time to cause more chaos? Once again, when you're broke, you're broke. You can't miss a single paycheck or you're going to get put out. That's what I'm trying to understand. Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I don't know enough. Yeah. Cynthia said that the Democrats must realize they don't own the black vote anymore. They don't own it. They don't know what we're going to do. Now, how I look at it, you vote your interests. I've always say that. And like in the state of Texas, I can't speak about Detroit, but the state of Texas, what all the brothers was talking about today, even in the barbershop, they're not liking what happened with this stuff here about that ban. They're not liking that at all. And a lot of people was talking about, yeah, I think I'm gonna get out there and go vote against these people. These were brothers saying that. And say, man, I don't really know getting involved with that voting, but they gotta go. There's a lot of people saying that. Because they went too far. And now my thing is, you know you're not smart. Why would y'all push that before the midterms? You would think if you were smart, wait till after the midterms and then do it. But right before the midterms, now you're going to motivate everybody to come out and vote against you? That's stupid. That's utterly dumb. Now, I'm being upfront. Greg Abbott got to go. Paxton got to go. Straight. I'm talking about. Hold on, not Paxton. I'm not talking about him. What's his name? Dan Patrick. Them two. They got to go. And just because they're trying to mass incarcerate people, and for sure, who they going to target more than anybody else? F.B.A. So if you a black person in Texas, F.B.A. in particular, this new stuff they're doing, they're going to target you. They go, who they going to be pulling over more? You. Who the car they going to try to search more of? Your car, to see if you got anything in there, so they can put a state felony on you, so you can't vote anymore, right? So they can put you in jail and make you a slave. By that same 13th Amendment that so-called freed us, they put you back in the plantation. In the Texas prisons, you got to work. You can't just sit around and not do nothing. My cousin that did a bid told me that. You got to work every day. And you don't get paid for it. So if you are F.B.A., I think that what happened with this situation, this directly, I think, affects us. Whether you smoke or not, it affects us. Because, okay, yeah, it don't affect me personally because I don't smoke. I don't do any gummies. I don't do any of that. I don't even drink like that. But I do know people who do. And some people do it for medical reasons. It's not always recreational for people. And so shall those people who are doing it for medical reasons, should they suffer? Because these politicians who's getting money from the alcohol industry because they're suffering, because their industry is suffering because nobody's buying that crap. Well, why would somebody buy that crap, especially at those nightclubs? And that, that's why I understand when the Bible teaches that, when you party, basically, you surely to come into poverty. Yeah, I get it. When you go in every weekend, you're paying $20, $30 for parking. You get a shot of some sort of drink is $17 to $20. Y'all go and buy bottles that's $100, $250. Like, you go doggone Total Wine, that bottle didn't cost that much. Yeah, you bought it because you're in that location. Then you go and buy a section that's $500 to $1,000. Like, where all this money coming from? Yeah, you go into poverty. Go put that money in some sort of investment. You'll keep your money. Eric say that's me. Well, Eric, I don't know if you're in the state of Texas or not. So I don't know what state you're in, but it's not about voting for Democrats. And I said a long time ago, I don't vote Democrat. I don't vote Republican. I vote my interest. So any election that's there, I'm voting my interest. I'm voting what's in the best for black people, in my opinion, at that time. Sometimes it's nobody. Sometimes it's a couch. Sometimes you got to vote for whatever side you got to vote for. But in this particular election that's coming up, sometimes it's like it's like business. You got to get out your feelings and look at what's logical. And the logical equation is what's happening right now is it working for you? Do you want to, at least in the state of Texas, do you want to have this go on? Do you want to be targeted by these police? Do you want to see mass incarceration of F.B.A.s again? Because these people you got to understand, these people have a lot of private prisons in this state. And they make a lot of money housing F.B.A.s. I'm sorry, I've seen F.B.A.s mass incarcerated already when I was a child in the 90s, in the 80s and stuff with the crack epidemic. I don't want to see that again happen to my people. You want to talk about the single parent household, how it started, how it really got blown up? It was that crack era. Prior to that, we had two parents in the household. We had it. Most of the friends I had didn't have no single mothers. It was mother and father in the home. These white folks came in here with that stuff and they law, and they busted up the black family, and they left the woman there and put the man in prison. With they war on drug laws, they 3-strike laws, and all the things they were doing and targeting black people. And these people they were targeting were people they was using, not dealers, using. And they trying to rehash this again, but just with the synthetic. If you in the F.B.A. and understand the tactics of white supremacy, you would say, you know what? Get out your feelings about certain things and understand, don't be like the immigrants, not taking it seriously. And then when they start mass incarcerating and locking people up, man, we should have did something about that. No joke. At least I know on this microphone, I'm going to tell you. So you can't say Phil didn't tell you. And I'm going to tell you repeatedly. I don't want to see mass incarceration of my people, period. Yeah. Right before the midterms is pretty wild. Now let me go to this other thing here. And let me get to Georgia real quick. Georgia just had their governor primary. I want to talk about that here for a second. In Georgia, and shout out to Georgia. There's a lot of. I thank all the people in Georgia that support us on the African Diaspora News Channel app. Y'all support me so much that we have to pay taxes to the state of Georgia. Shout out to the state of Georgia Department of Revenue. Shout out to you. But as you can see here on the screen, so they had the Georgia governor primary results and everything here. And of course, if you look at the amount of people that came out, they said it's 99% there. But Keisha Lance Bottoms got about 607,000 votes. That's at the top of the ticket there. And of course, the other people there. So you're looking at almost, well, not 1 million votes, but you're getting close to it. Versus on the Republican side, now they say they're going to have a runoff with these two gentlemen here to see which one is going to be the main candidate. They go against Keisha Lance Bottoms. So more people were motivated to come out and vote on this side. Why? I think Keisha has a better chance this time. It's because the Republicans are just, they messing up. They're messing up big time, and Trump keep doing stuff. You know something Trump just did? And it doesn't make it good for the people that's running. So your boy, how many of you take you have medications, and how many of you take generics? Any of you take generics? Like for anything? You take any kind of generics? Well, generics was created. So, you got your brand and you got your generic. So the brand may be $50, generic may be $10 on your insurance. Well, what your boy did recently, an executive order, he signs executive order, put a bunch of tariffs on the generics. He said he did it to force manufacturing here in the United States for generics. Well, we know how that's going to go. Like anything else he did, it's going to be messed off. The companies are not going to bring their factories here to America. Why would they? They're just going to pass off the tariff cost to the consumer who needs those medications. The first time he did this, it did not work. Now he's trying to do it again. So if you go to any pharmacy and here in the next couple of months, and you say, why my stuff costs as much as the brand? That don't make sense. It may cost more. We got to thank Trump for that. Republicans and what they're doing. So when he's making moves like that, you got to think about it. They're doing moves that's literally affecting the everyday man and woman. When you talk about people's medication, when you're talking about people's jobs, when you're talking about gas prices, which affect everybody, you're talking about food costs, your light bills that went straight up, your natural gas bill is through the roof, right? Everything is extremely high. We're not living in a time where it's just a bunch of financial prosperity. Now they say, but the markets are doing great. Yeah, that's great. If you got money in the stock market, it's great for you. But what about the rest of America who can't afford to put money in the stock market? You blessed if you can put money in the stock market. You're blessed. that you got disposable income to put on the market for years for it to grow. But that's not the story for everybody. Once again, I am not a fan of the Democrat Party, but I'm a fan of my interest. I'm a fan of the interest of Black America. And these people, look, in Texas, we talked about that today. We should have casinos in Texas. We should. Why can't, look, check this out. A lot of Texans, and I don't gamble. I'm letting you know up front. I don't gamble. I was in Vegas, a few months ago. I didn't play a single slot. I don't gamble my money. I refuse to. But if a person wants to play casino, that's their business. You shouldn't say, well, we're not going to have casinos here in Texas. Okay. And the Texas people, they drive to Oklahoma and Louisiana. So that's dumb. So you're taking money out of the state of Texas and giving it to other states. And we have a big old state that we can have a bunch of casinos right here. As long as these Republicans are in here, okay, they're not going to allow casinos in the state of Texas when a lot of Texans want casinos. Casinos bring jobs. They'll build more hotels, right? You trust me, you get a lot of more jobs here. Why don't you? But these people are dumb. They're dumb. In my opinion, they're silly. It don't make sense. Then in Texas, you can't talk about that particular foreign nation. Talking about you can't talk about them if you're a teacher or whatever case may be. Like, look, bro, we don't need nobody advocating for foreign governments. We need people to advocate for the United States of America and the state of Texas. So that's why I always promote, get registered to vote. I didn't realize my time was run out. Get registered to vote. Have your voter registration card. Have your United States passport. Whether you travel or not, have your United States passport and make sure to have a driving license so you can move internationally, domestically, and you can vote. And that means you can choose to vote, choose the couch, but at least you got your card when it's time to go vote strategically. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and go. I'm cutting.
Coffee. Follow me.